at what we found. It's a big sound in a small town. Far from the bright lights, they're making music every night. Hear what is all around. It's a big sound in a small town. It's a big sound in a small town. It's a big sound in a small town.
Hi, welcome to Season 4 of Big Sound Small Town. I'm your host, Sandy Carlton. Join me as musicians tell their stories about how they became musicians and the stories along the way.
My name is Claire Armbruster, and I live in Brevard, North Carolina. I am a live music consultant and independent contractor. I have my own company. It's called Planning Stages Incorporated, and I've just moved back to North Carolina from a 15-year stint, I guess you'd say,
works, yeah.
in Nashville, Tennessee.
Why did you choose Brevard?
Well, I grew up in Hickory, North Carolina.
Okay.
And I wanted to come back to North Carolina. My husband and I both did. He spent most of his adult life in Raleigh.
Okay.
And Western North Carolina appealed to us. And we talked to John Weisberger, who lives there now, and Woody Platt, who lives there. And another friend of ours, Donica Christensen, just moved there, and they all absolutely love it.
It's a music mecca these days, actually.
It certainly is.
Jeff Sight was just on the show. Jeff lives there. Travis Book. I mean, there's a.
Yep, Travis lives there.
A lot of people live there these days.
Yeah, so we went there and we ate our lunch in the city park one day after visiting the visitor center and walking around downtown, and we sat in that park and said, this is it.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, I've probably hiked every waterfall trail there is near there, and you know, it's a good area.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. We've been there since the end of October, so we're just getting started in our exploration.
All the goodness of Asheville without having to deal with Asheville.
That's right.
You know, it's really good. So you want to start and talk about your company that you have now. Tell the listeners about it.
I'm busy.
That's a good thing.
Yes, it's a very good thing. Things slowed down, during COVID.
Sure, they did
for everyone because festivals weren't happening and live music was on hold for a while. But I book the talent and coordinate the production for the Gray Fox Bluegrass Festival, which is in upstate New York. It's in the beautiful Catskills of New York.
It is.
And it happens in mid-July. And I've been really fortunate to be working with them for about the last 7 years.
Oh, that's good.
And then I am helping coordinate the Earl Scruggs Music Festival, which the inaugural festival happens this coming Labor Day weekend,
yes,
September 2 through 4. Get your tickets now.
Right, exactly.
Earl Scruggs Fest.
Early bird special.
EarlScruggsMusicFest.com.
Yep. The early bird special is already passed, so you're going to have to pay full price.
That's right. And we're getting ready to announce some additional artists in the lineup on March 22nd.
Good.
And I book a small performing arts center in Huntingdon, Tennessee. It's called the Dixie Performing Arts Center. Interestingly, it was named after Dixie Carter.
Oh, yeah.
Who was an actress that was in the TV show in the 80s, Designing Women. She grew up in that area, and so it's named after her. And it's a really sweet 475-seat room. They've had Americana artists like Lyle Lovett, Robert Earl Keen. They've even had Jason Isbell there a couple of times. But they also do touring Broadway like music and like tribute shows like the Eagles, things like that.
Similar to the maybe Newberry Opera House, possibly.
Yeah. And then I'm also working with Woody Platt and John Felty on their Brian Sutton guitar camp at the Brevard Music Center, which the inaugural event will happen in June.
I just saw that was coming. You are busy.
Yeah, I'm having fun.
Now, how does this all happen, though? I mean, all right, so how do you get to actually, how did you become the booking agent for, say, Gray Fox? I mean, how did that happen?
Well, I worked for Merle Fest for
Right.
15 years,
Mm-hmm.
and the last 6 of those years I was the artist relations director. And I did all the programming and booking, and I made a lot of connections, just in people in Nashville, and
Right.
just people that are producing festivals. And I knew Mary Daub,
Yeah.
who produces the Gray
Right.
Fox Festival. She's been doing it for over 30 years.
Yeah, she has.
And they needed someone. So right when I was starting my business, I was about a year into it, and feel really fortunate that they asked me
That's
to
great.
help out. And it's just a bunch of fun. I mean, the people that I work with, I knew them all.
Right.
That are part of the team, and it's an all-female team, which is kind of cool.
Good. I raise bees, so I know all about a female-dominated culture. Honeybees. They do all the work. The men do nothing, and they drag the men out in October and kill them all.
Well, we do have some great men that work.
That's great,
Work
yeah.
on the team, but the decision makers for a lot of the, the talent and, the graphics, the site. A lot of those decisions are by key players that are women.
Do you know when you go into those who you're after? I mean, I guess you have certain ones that are regulars, just like with Merle Fest, and then I guess, do you comb through stuff, or do you have pretty much an idea who you want to
We
get?
comb through stuff. We select, and this is the same with the Earl Scruggs Festival. We select the artists that we're interested in, and it seems like, sort of a vibe, or I hesitate to say the word theme, but that just something develops around the artists that you start with, that
Right.
things that work,
Sure.
artists that might do things
Well,
together,
yeah, oh, yeah.
that have played together before,
Sure.
or just just the whole sense of it comes into the
Sure. I mean, let's take Gray Fox as opposed to Merle Fest. There's a broader music spectrum, I think, at Merle Fest, say, than Gray Fox. I mean, Gray Fox pretty much bluegrass.
It stretches.
It is stretching these days, but it's been
Yeah.
closer. Whereas Merle Fest has stretched their boundaries a little more.
Yes.
So it is. Bluegrass festivals have actually
Yeah.
changed over the years so much.
Yeah, they have. And I'll say that Gray Fox, the difference is that Gray Fox is smaller.
It is smaller, yes.
And it has fewer stages. It's out in the middle of a field in a very rural area, and it's really fascinating to see this small city build up, and everything is right there on that site. And people bring their families.
Yeah.
It's very family oriented. I'm not saying that Merle Fest is not,
Right.
but it's much
It's
bigger.
broader, yes, it is.
And a lot of these people that come to Gray Fox have been coming for generations.
Right.
You can go down and talk to people in the campsites, and you've got the grandparents,
Sure.
parents, kids, and their kids.
True.
Sometimes 4 generations of people that have been coming for many years.
Yeah, I've been to Gray Fox. It's a fun festival.
Oh, good. It is a fun festival.
It really is. So, okay. Now, how did you even start this business of yours? Not where you're at now, but from the very beginning.
Well, if you know Steve Johnson,
I do know Steve Johnson.
I was in Nashville. I was working for Keith Case and Associates.
Oh, you worked for Keith? I worked for Keith for a
Did
while.
you really?
Yeah.
And that was sheer joy. He was so much fun to work with, and I worked there as
Best booking agent. Before I forget it, best booking agent I ever worked for.
He was the best booking agent. Period. He loved his work, and it was just wonderful to see somebody come to work every day that just got so much joy out of what he did.
Oh, I didn't get to see him I never got to see him really, but.
So I was working there, and I'd been there for 7 years, and I was missing live music production because I went from Merle Fest to Keith's, and I was doing artist management, co-managing Sierra Hull and Guy Clark with Keith, and managing the office, kind of general manager kind of thing. And I was really missing live music production, and I was talking to Steve, who had just started working with Merle Fest as an independent contractor. I think it was his second or third year there, and I was asking him if he, needed some help, and he said, "Well, you should just." He goes, "You should start your own business. You should do this." Mm-hmm. And so every day for a year, on Wednesday mornings at 8 o'clock, every week, on Wednesday mornings, Steve and I would have a phone call, and he would, verse me on, insurance, and he would give me leads, and we would talk about just the particulars of, starting a business and networking and things like that. So I have to credit Steve for kind of.
He's a pretty good mentor. I think he helped Maggie Rainwater too.
He did.
So.
He's like a really great friend.
Yeah, it sounds like he is, and now he's doing something entirely different.
Yeah, he's in the healthcare field.
Yeah, he is, and I commend him for going into it at the time that he did, or back into it, I guess, because it was a time of real need. So. Yes,
and he actually, was doing the Earl Scruggs Music Festival, and needed to get back into more steady work, and so he suggested me for the position, and that's how I ended up there.
That's great. I mean, and I guess that has been a bit frustrating with COVID. I mean, you had it set up once to go, and let's see, we've been indoors and outdoors, and
yeah, and moved it outdoors because of COVID, because that would ensure us, of beginning the festival this year.
This is true, yes.
Had COVID, I think had we had it inside this year, we probably could have done it, but it's safer.
I agree.
Being outside.
Yeah, and that's a unique place that you're booking the festival into, is it not?
It's a very unique place, and it's going to be wonderful because, the facility is just amazing.
It is.
We offer 2 different VIP packages that have really great, extras that come with them.
Sure.
The site will be really easy to get around. We've got two good stages. One will feature the Foggy Mountain stage. Will feature North Carolina artists. It's being sponsored by Come Here, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. The Flint Hill stage, which is named after the town that Earl was born in, will feature a lot of, your stalwarts of the Americana bluegrass world, like Sam Bush and Jerry Douglas and Bela Fleck and Nitty Gritty Dirt Band and Earls of Leicester. It's really exciting.
Yes, it is. Now, this is something I'll ask you about. I mean, I know the answer, but people need to know. A lot of people who have been to the Equestrian Center and seen events probably think they're sitting in the horse. You'll have chairs in the horse, arena part there, and people will be on the stage that they've seen people play on before. But that's not it at all, is it?
I'm not sure what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah, the stage is in a ring, a horse ring.
But it's not the main one there, is it? It's not the main one when you walk in.
It's to the left. It's a big one.
Okay. Is it the one that has the...
It has seating. It has covered seating.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
There's another ring that has seating all around it. That's not covered seating.
Right.
We're not using that ring.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking people... actually, that one I think is where they have a lot of their acts there. And from playing there, I know that you play your little set, and then you play like 11 minutes while they basically Zamboni the horse
Yep.
thing there. And at 11 minutes, they cut you off wherever you're at in the middle of a song, or, you need to keep your eye on the clock and do the Presbyterian thing versus we're going to sing verses 1 and 4 because we have 11 minutes instead of, so that'll be good. It'll be exciting. They have a lot of, the place has grown so it can accommodate a lot of people.
A lot of people. They've got restaurants on site. We'll have food trucks. We'll have bars set up. It's going to be different and unique, I think, and a lot of fun.
That's good. That's now with that, you do have some surprise artists, right? You're getting ready to announce. Mm-hmm. That's great.
I just
It's okay. It's okay. This will probably air before then, possibly so. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Whoops.
But no, I think people are excited. I think they've been excited here about it. I don't know about the rest of North Carolina. I know that the bluegrass community is pretty excited about it. And of course, Cleveland County and Rutherford and probably Polk County are all excited.
Well, and it's, the beneficiaries of the festival are the Earl Scruggs Center.
Sure.
And Isothermal Community College / WNCW.
WNCW, yeah.
So we're really happy, to have them as partners in
Sure.
this. And of course, the Equestrian Center
Yes.
is amazing. And
It
I have
is.
to say that my main team for the festival is, Mary Beth Martin here at the Scruggs Center, and Jeff Fissel, who's the events director at the Equestrian Center.
Right.
They're both fabulous to work with.
They are both. I know them both, and they are great people. They're good people to work with. So what else do we need to know, Claire?
Gosh, I don't know.
Was it hard for you to move to Nashville? I mean, did you have butterflies like when you moved there?
No, I was excited to move there, and mainly because my husband Jeff and I were living, and I was living in Wilkesboro. He was living in Raleigh, so
Right.
it was a 2.5 hour commute. He's a civil engineer, and he was transferred to Nashville.
Oh, so that
which was perfect for me.
Yeah.
And I was excited to go there, and
then you found a pretty good place to get work right off the bat, apparently.
yeah, I'd known Keith for a number of years from my work at Merle Fest.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And just, loved working there. And he gave me a really great opportunity to work with Sierra, saw her career.
It has really exploded here.
It's been fun watching her.
Yeah, I'm sure it has.
And
we talked earlier about young talent developing and coming into their own, and that is a prime example on a major stage of it happening.
Yeah, really proud of her. She works really hard, and she's doing a great job. I love seeing what she's doing.
Yeah, I mean, she is really at a good point in her career. So
I took her to right before she graduated from high school. I took her to Berkeley to talk to Matt Glazer and John McCann.
I know Matt too.
And they wanted to give her a full scholarship. At the time, it didn't have housing, and she was very concerned about how she would afford to live there. And they just said, hang on, we're going to give you the presidential scholarship, which paid for everything. Sure. And I like to think that John McGann, who's no longer with us,
right.
Great mandolin player, and Matt really exposed her to some really great music.
Sure.
And expanded her mind.
Oh,
and it's helped her tremendously. Berkeley is such a great school.
It is a great school. It is a wonderful school. As Jeff said, his roommate was Steve Vai. Bradford Marcellus was there at the same time. He was Bill Frisell. I mean, that's pretty heady stuff for one class, for one class of people. So,
yeah.
It is a wonderful place. But you do have to live in Boston.
And Gray Fox has a great relationship with Berkeley. We do a Berkeley showcase.
Yeah, that's cool.
On Thursday, and the students come. They get about two and a half hours, I think, and they'll bring like 3 or 4 configurations of bands, and they'll perform. And I think it's really wonderful experience for them to come to the festival and see how all that works.
Sure.
And they camp there all weekend and
oh,
have a
that's
good time.
great. Yeah, I mean, I think that is one of the things that makes going there fun too. You get to actually, besides spending all your time learning music, you also get to do some stuff like that too, which is you get to put it to practice.
Yeah.
Instead of just rehearse. Basically music in school is just rehearsing.
Yep.
And rehearsing and rehearsing and rehearsing. So, but that is really cool. What else we need to know?
Well, I think you keep asking me what you need to know, but I think people like me, we prefer to be behind the scenes.
Sure.
We just want to make sure that the show happens and the show is good and all the pieces fit and
Right.
everything works well together. So I'm not super used to talking about myself.
Well, this is one of the things that I have really tried with this podcast is to show all the sides of music. It takes a community.
It does.
For music to work at all. I mean, you can make money playing music, but only because it took a lot of non-musicians or non-working musicians who, a lot of musicians, a lot of people working in the business are musicians, but they aren't out performing. It takes a lot of those people to make it where you can go listen to it and enjoy it. You can be one of the artists and go play it. I mean, it's a whole community.
It is a whole community. And I was thinking on the way here that, a lot of people go to school to learn, what I do.
Sure.
Had there been school, programs in schools like this, I don't know if I would have known about it. I always say, I wish in the mid-'70s there had been an arts management course of study, because I would have loved that.
Right.
But there wasn't. There were so many limitations on what you could do. I mean, it was very, black and white.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And today, there's, students today can write their own programs for courses of study.
They can, and I'm also playing with a young, I'll call her a fiddle player, violinist. She's getting ready actually to go to Belmont.
Great school.
When she graduates to do music. But one of the things she was talking to me about, and her mother was talking about, is that it's just not the performance or teaching area, which it used to be pretty much. You go and it's either the performance or you're going to get out and teach. But they were telling her at Belmont the different things within the music business that that they offer to her as a music major, which is really kind of unusual. I think they even have some artist management type programs.
They do. They have a really great music business program. I worked with a young woman, Kate Cosentino. She went there to be a performer.
Right.
But she double majored in performance and music business, which is really smart.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's good to have that knowledge.
Yeah, it is good, and it's additional. You never know how performance is going to go and how limiting it can be. But then there's other avenues that it just kind of reinforces your education, that gives you more options.
And it's good for musicians to know, how the contracts work.
Sure.
How advancing the artist for a show works.
Right.
How, having their writer indicate the equipment and gear that they need correctly, and, just things like that. And, it's an important side of the business.
Steve Metcalf was telling me the first writer he ever saw the other day at Green Acres. He said, a writer? We had no idea. He said, we actually wound up having to put a sink in the women's bathroom.
You know, Steve Metcalf is responsible for my foray into the music business.
Really?
Because in 1986, I went to Green Acres for the first time, and to see Newgrass Revival.
Sure.
And I had never really experienced bluegrass much. I'd heard Tony Rice. My first introduction to bluegrass was Manzanita.
Yeah.
And then I saw Newgrass Revival, and it changed my life.
Yeah, it changes your life. Green Acres, I actually have the distinction and honor actually to have been there as a listener, as an artist, and have been on and was on the Little King record label. So, I feel really, really lucky to have had that whole association there.
Oh, I know. Steve has done some great things for music in this area, for sure.
He has, and a fun and entertaining guy, without a doubt.
And his late wife, Donna.
I agree.
She was fabulous.
Yep, and Rita's good too now.
Rita's wonderful.
Yeah, so it's Steve's a fun guy and has had a large influence on my life. And actually, I'm getting ready to air a Steve Metcalf
I'm definitely going to listen
podcast.
to that.
Yeah, it's actually, and on it, I will tell you, I'll give you the first up right here. He is going to tell every band who has ever played there, top to bottom.
Wow.
This is a pretty interesting.
Let me know if he remembers the bagpipe band.
Yeah, he does. I've been.
I can't remember the name of the band.
He does. We've discussed everybody. He and I knew lots of people in the bands, but he had things like the bagpipes. He had anything that was different. He wrote it all down, and he has it. Little notes out beside it, things that were interesting. Certain anniversaries, the roof fell in the snow. It is entertaining. If you've ever been to Green Acres, it'll bring back a lot of memories.
Yeah, I was there before the first show I went to was in the Cinder Block building.
Yeah.
Before the pavilion.
Sure. Yeah.
Is that what they called it, the pavilion?
Yeah, pavilion. Yeah. Yeah, which was theater chairs and couches. Yeah, but in the inside building was seating was very important there. If you got too near the wood stove, you burn up. If you weren't close enough, you froze to death.
The night that I went there, it was in mid-November. It was pouring rain, cold, rainy night. But man, it was,
I know it.
It was amazing inside there.
It was, and it's one of the few places I will tell you that people went for the music first. A lot of other stuff, a lot of other enjoyment was there, but it was music first. Could never happen today.
Yep, we had to sit on the floor in front of the stage because it was so full.
Yeah.
I like to say people were hanging from the rafters.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really full. And sitting at Sam Bush's feet and Bela Fleck's feet, I was just amazed.
And at that time, that was the very beginnings of their career. I mean, you could watch talk about growth. You could see them grow to where they are today, which is pretty amazing also.
Yep.
Well,
that's why I'm glad to be back in North Carolina. It's where my roots are.
Yeah, North Carolina is a pretty good place musically anyway. So you grew up in the Hickory area.
Mm-hmm. My family moved there when I was in high school.
That's Hickory is a fun music area.
We actually started a nonprofit organization for music there called Acoustic Stage.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And brought a lot of really great talent to the art center, and we used the Fireman's Kitchen at the community theater.
Right.
It was a lot of fun.
One of the one of the first times I ever saw Billy Joe Shaver was in Hickory.
Oh, really? I don't think that was one of our shows.
Yeah, probably was. Might have been.
It could have been at 10 years after.
I think that might have been weird. I cannot remember.
Joe Hill
It was a long
Joe
time
Hill
ago.
was our neighbor. It lived across the street.
Oh, really?
And he had 10 years after.
Yeah,
And-
I actually worked there. I played there several times.
And we started Acoustic Stage because we were in Boone one year to see the Tony Rice unit.
Yeah.
And there was this place in Boone called Shadrack's. Do you remember that place?
I do kind of, but I've
It was
never.
kind of I think it was a barbecue place or something, and it was like barbecue and iced tea.
Right.
That's all you could get there. And the Tony Rice unit was playing there, and my husband at the time went up and was speaking to Jimmy Goodrow, who was at the merch table, and they're like, "Hey, we're looking for a gig tomorrow night. Do you know anywhere?" And he was like, "Yeah, come and play in our yard." And it was a Thursday night, I think, and we had him play in our yard, and Joe Hill brought his PA over, and
That's pretty cool.
I know
That's a great story.
I know, it was on the fly, and we called it the unit in the yard. We had him back a second time, like maybe a year later or something.
So that actually, when that started out, that was more house concert than anything. I mean,
Well, we did house concerts like the night before our public shows, our ticketed shows, and we called them. The artists started calling them the rehearsal gigs.
yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
And we just invite our friends over. We didn't really charge for it.
Right.
We sold T-shirts that had,
Yeah.
I can't remember what they said, like living room concert,
Oh,
Bill
yeah.
and Claire's, I think it said.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
That is cool. That is really cool. So I guess you do have a lot of, some of the coolest things if you're a musician is to actually have artists sit really close to you in a non-professional environment and play. I mean, that's pretty much a piece of magic.
It was pretty magical, those shows, because people didn't buy tickets. We just invited friends, and we tried to rotate friends,
Yeah.
to kind of even it out.
Right.
But they would always bring, food. They would bring, it was like, covered dish.
Sure.
And they would bring great food, and the artists got to eat great food, and everybody really just sat and listened during the shows, and we took breaks, and
Those are the best. I mean,
it was really sweet.
some of the best things I ever have done in my life have been, house concerts, home concerts. Those have been really.
And this was early. This was in the mid '90s, before house concerts had really
Right.
taken off. They were starting to
Right.
happen. I think it was around in North Carolina, there was one particular one in Chapel Hill
Mm-hmm.
that was really popular.
Right.
But
Yeah.
not many. Now it's
No.
a whole industry.
Oh yeah, it's a whole industry now. You can actually. I know someone who kind of a local act here who kind of makes himself his living through that. Guy named Pistol Hill. That is his stage name, Pistol Hill.
That's great.
Yeah, and he does well. He's actually a talented singer and songwriter who went Nashville to try to do it in a new way, which he should have gone to Nashville. But and I admire that. I admire making your own way.
Yep.
So, well, I know you have an appointment at the Division of Motor Vehicles. So
Yes. Gonna get my North Carolina driver's license.
there you go. Well, I do appreciate you taking the time and coming to this.
Thank you for asking me.
It's been very entertaining.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you.